I don't know, guys. It's starting to feel like we're back. It's been a little bit, hasn't it? Is there anyone out there?
Yeah, I think Tyson's condo. So you guys are stuck with me for a while.
Wow, Tyson, you're sounding interesting. Any story behind that?
No, this is not Tyson. This is just his older brother coming in. He's filling in for the podcast.
Yes. I don't know, more grizzled and sexier sounding older brother. I don't know. We might have to have a word after this. Might hit you in the DMs, right?
Yeah, gotta hit that guy up.
Laugh mischievously to us. Yeah,
why you sound like that though?
Why you sound like that though?
Why you turn me on like that though?
So before I get any further, it gives me great pleasure to say that this is indeed the Pink Boys podcast. We're still rolling. You know, I know it'll be a week or two here and there, in rare cases, a month or two sometime in there, but this'll never end. You know, we'll take a hiatus maybe for 10 years. And then when we're 60, we'll be like, hey, it's the Pink Boys. Remember
We're back. We're back. We never left the kid.
Yeah. I don't know if one of us will make it to that age, and I know which one of us probably won't, but I'll save that for later. I won't say it now, but
he might be on his way out right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very interesting.
Very true, by the way that sounds. But before I go any further, I have an announcement. We have a real, tangible announcement that I want to share with you all. So I've noticed, or we've noticed collectively, that not only do people who listen to this podcast enjoy when we talk about the paranormal, ethereal, otherworldly, whether it's ghosts, aliens. I think the most fun I've had on this podcast, top 3 times, was when we did our ghost story episode, not last Halloween, but the Halloween before that. And because that's a lot of fun for us, we've also noticed that some feedback that we've gotten over the last year or two is that you guys enjoy things like that too, even when Ari does it, which blows my mind because he could just be nauseating. But they're like, oh, more funny stuff from Ari, even though he can't even complete his own story that he's telling half of the time. Then he'll be like, okay, anyways, you know.
Right, so this Wikipedia article says,
yeah, or just reads an article.
You're both just ADHD TikTok driven Zoomers, and I am a sophisticated and
yes, because it takes so much to read from Wikipedia, right?
Okay. I'm laying this out a bit too long here. What I'm saying is we have another channel that we've started. We've done a few test episodes. It's called The Scary Door, and it's going to be all paranormal, personal, scary stories. And what we do is we take a subject that we like, we give our own personal spin on it. We're trying to be niche, but also not too niche to the point where no one knows what we're talking about, but we don't want to be too broad. You know, there's not going to be an episode of what are ghosts? Like, what is alien? You know, we're getting in there. We're getting in the nitty gritty a little bit.
Scary door.
Yeah, exactly. So we were a little flippant with naming it, but I think it's enough to keep it lighthearted, but still interesting. And I actually think that I and Tyson did a great job on the graphics for the channel. So it's going to be fun. I look forward to it. We've already done a few episodes. One was a subject that Tyson was interested in, and then one that I was interested in as well was about stairs, mirrors, and bridges as portals to other dimensions. And I think we're going to get one going today that we'll be uploading later. That's a subject that I want. So if you want if you want your master, your icon to give you a great rundown on some paranormal subject, then go to the Scary Door YouTube channel that we're going to link.
Massage the dark matter in your lobotomized brains. You guys will love it.
Exactly.
Really itch that dark hole in your soul.
Exactly. And you know what? I'll give him credit. He hasn't just pulled up an article and read it verbatim so far. He's actually contributed to conversation quite well. So I'll keep us moving here though, because it's funny. We're doing a bunch of different things at once here because I'm mentioning a new channel, and there's something that has come up to me recently that reminded me of the olden days. So does this sound familiar to you two at all and our listeners? Things like Obama Sonic Inu coin, Cadena, does that bring up Tomb? Dare I say Chainlink?
Oh God.
Maybe I won't say something like that. I don't know. We'll just say Bitcoin in general. I started thinking about the old days lately, and I'm just going to be very frank with you guys, especially since I don't hold as much as I used to, if any at all. I don't find talking about crypto weekly interesting anymore. I think I did for a time then, but it was never one of my driving interests in life. I kind of fell into it, had some great luck in it, and some good guidance from people like Tyson, and some bad guidance from other people who won't be named. But I thought about what we used to do on here, because a subject came up recently that I thought was really interesting. So if Tyson, you still have those old muscles, I kind of want you to flex them a little bit here. And I know you had a stint as a trader, and you've also, we'll just leave it there. You've had a stint as a trader, and you're a great guy, and we love you. But I saw an article that made my ears perk up a few weeks ago. Well, I guess be my eyes perked up. It was that, and I always wanted this to happen, especially when I was really deep into crypto, mainly when I was simply holding things like Chainlink or ETH, and I was just, paying attention to it in that capacity. Did you guys see that? I don't know if Australia did it as well, but South Korea did it. Banned short selling on stocks. They banned short selling as
so retail people can't short.
Yes. And the reasoning behind that is, and it's funny you use that exact term, retail people. The justification for it from their version of the SEC or whoever regulates that in that country is that they want to level the playing field between retail investors and institutional investors. So I'm not sure if it actually does level the playing field, but to me, I always viewed short selling as counterproductive to growth of a security or an equity. I always thought that if there were the inclination to short it, there was always a vulnerability that people would be approaching that asset in a way that would make it move in that direction that's best for their investment, whether they're acting in bad faith or they're holding a position or they happen to get lucky. I think it's anti-growth, really. And I think it's not predatory, but I think it's a money tool that hasn't worked out tangibly for the best as far as growth and well-being in sound investment. So I think I can't recall if I was involved in crypto before you were able to short Bitcoin, but I think being able to short Bitcoin had a huge effect. And I like it because it's kind of in a vacuum, because it's an uncontrollable, for the most part, form of currency that we can observe. And you notice the effect that it had on the price once we were able to short it. I mean, it resulted in wild price fluctuations and probably hampered unfettered growth that it could have had even more than it has already. So I guess first impressions, I mean, what are your thoughts on short selling, a ban on short selling? I mean, I think it's a good thing. I think it's great. I'd love to see it.
Off the bat, it's entirely fueled by people that are like retarded. We'll see.
Thank you.
Did I just get exposed?
Like only people that are complete retards would think that short selling in itself is like bad or like detrimental to an asset. I talked about this a couple, I think like maybe 2 years ago, but one of the things that you mentioned this actually, one of the things that made Bitcoin, one of the pivotal moments was when they introduced Bitcoin futures. You could long Bitcoin, you could short Bitcoin. And the result of that is that Bitcoin needed to move a smaller percentage for it to have the same effect. For it to have the same effect on the market. So for example, if you had 5x leverage, for the market to have the same effect, it's like a 100% move upwards, you would only have to move like 20%. Because you just times it by 5, right? Yeah, it's the same if you short it or if you long it,
So what? Eating short positions has a greater effect on upward momentum, so that's why shorts maybe aren't the worst.
No, I mean it just doesn't do anything. Like if you shorting in itself, like shorting is just using like margin, right? And margin, it just like, it shortens the horizon with which Bitcoin needs to move in order to have the same effect. And it's like, if you criticize shorting from that perspective, you have to criticize margin longing as well.
All forms of leverage trading in general. Okay, so go ahead.
I was going to say, it wasn't so futures in crypto wouldn't have been possible without the dawn of the stable coin as well, and that's a whole other bag of worms because stable coins are basically just like fiat, right? And unlike, it's not controlled by like the Fed or whatever, it's controlled by some literal incels.
I mean, am I stupid for thinking that if you have the ability to short an asset, let's just say, if you're an interested investor in Apple who has a large short position, wouldn't you hope or interact with that company in a way that ensures that you may have an action that, makes the company go downwards in value? I mean, that's where my mind goes when it comes to, that's where my mind goes when it comes to short selling.
Like if you have a short on Apple or what?
Yeah, let's say if I had a short open on Apple and then I went and found Tim Cook and, well, it wouldn't matter now because he doesn't really have a visionary effect on the company. So let's just say, who was the old guy in the turtleneck that died of cancer?
Steve Jobs.
Yeah, let's just say Steve Jobs were still alive and I had a short position open in Apple. That would lead me to think, okay, well, I mean, we're speaking hypothetically there. If I went and shot Steve Jobs in the head and I had a short position, Apple stock would tank and I would profit from that. So I would want Apple to perform. The fact that a short position exists automatically makes me not want to have a growth mindset with my investment.
How is it different from a long position?
Which I think is counterproductive because you want the company to succeed and be prosperous.
If you have a long position on Apple, you can just shoot Apple's competitors. Like,
okay,
really thinking outside the box here. Think different.
I think I'm thinking academically and you're thinking streetwise, and I'm not very streetwise. So you know what, Tyson, I'll give you that one for sure. Okay.
You could take it a step further and like instigate wars between nations and.
Well, that's not going on right now anywhere in the world, obviously.
Never.
No, not at all. We definitely didn't cover that in our last episode. But what I will say is, okay, can you meet me halfway and at least understand the point I'm trying to make?
I can see how, like, aesthetically, shorting is more negative than like longing, but it's just aesthetics,
Well, you may know. And this is something that's maybe it's my superstitious mind, but in the game of craps, which is my favorite gambling game, it's more fun than crypto. It's more fun than sports betting. It's my favorite form of losing money. In craps, there's a bet you can place that's kind of counter to the whole table. It's called Don't Pass, where you're betting the person will roll a 7 before they roll any other number that people may be betting on, where they 7 out. Usually 7ing out is a bad thing. When you bet on Don't Pass and people 7 out, you're sitting there like a little gremlin going, I got it, even though everyone else is losing money because I bet against the momentum of the table. That's what I imagine short sellers as. I see them as those same people, and they're little gremlins to me. So maybe it's just something I have to work out.
The other thing with shorts is that the potential for profit is limited. Like the downside potential is like, what's like the word for like inversely exponential? Like it's not a linear profit much. So like if it drops like 75% and you're on like 2x, you'll make 150%. But if it drops like another like 50% from there, you're not gonna make like another 100% from there. Like if you wanna like match the upside potential of a long position, you have to keep opening shorts. Like with a long, I mean, if you're retarded, you could really just keep going on and on and on, thousands of percent.
Until you lose everything, which is certainly never me, right? Or any of us. So. Oh, you love to hear. Okay,
it's a weird thing for sure, yeah.
But before we move on, just because we're talking about this for fun, Tyson, in a few sentences, maybe a paragraph, what do you think about the current state of the market? Because I have seen some rumblings lately.
I hope you guys took my advice in those old crypto videos that I used to make on the channel. Because my picks are doing pretty fucking well.
Really? Okay. Okay. I think if this is a true second run, I'm just gonna sit in ETH and be bored. I'm not gonna do whatever I did last time. I'll just be a boring ETH maxi. It'll hit 10K. I'll get out. We'll all be happy, and that'll be that. I'm not gonna mess with any.
I want to give a quick timeline though. I think we will bowl until Q1 2025, and then it's over. It's over for crypto forever.
Really? Okay. I'm going to hold you to that. I like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, while you guys are doing that, I want to be out there with a gun. I'll leave it at that.
Don't expand on that any further. I kind of like the mystery of that. You're going to be with the guy with the cattle prod in No Country for Old Men. Just going to be out there, you know? Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Thanks for coming out of retirement for that. I just thought it was interesting. And if it ends up being, it's a good study. I mean, we'll see if it ends up having a worse effect on the markets. I know it's had short-term positive effects, but long-term, you don't know. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, by the way, guys, one of the mistakes I made last cycle was overtrading. I overtraded myself into oblivion because I felt like I had to catch up to other people, or I wasn't performing as well as the market, or I just kept comparing myself. And what I'm doing this cycle is what I've already done is I've already deployed all my stable coins into assets that I think are good. And the only thing I'm going to do this cycle is when it hits my target for this particular asset, I'm going to hit sell.
Dude, that's so much easier said than done. There are so many psychological components that go into
I know, but I'm going to try my hardest to do it.
All right, you got it recorded here, which is great. Yeah, and so we can look back and I'll play it for you, and that's going to help out a lot because you mentioned something in there which was my problem. So most of my trading journey was Chainlink. Sold half my Chainlink around $37, was happy with that, and then played around with the rest into Tomb with the 2, whatever I named on this stupid show, in and out. So I was glad I even got out what I did back into my bank account. But what I will say, the thing that kept me around and what prevented me from making a lot more money, way more that would have made me definitely content, is I thought to myself, if I sell now, this person who is holding that I know is going to make more money than me. And I can't handle that. I can't handle and it's weird. I'm not an overly competitive person. I'm a generally happy, content person, but because this person I know in my life is also holding this asset, and this is my friend. This is someone I like. And it bothers me that they're going to be making more money if they stay in this asset and I get out of it. When looking back, it should have been like, well, what are you happy with? Think about what you're happy with. Are you happy with this amount of money? Yeah, I actually am happy with this amount of money. That would help me out for a while. That's more than I make in a year. That's more than I make in 2 years. I actually would like that money now. And you're not thinking that at the time, because when you're at the height of crypto mania, your brain it's becoming like primal, greed-filled, this part of human nature that most people don't experience in a lifetime. They don't experience that kind of money in a lifetime, and they don't know how to act, and they don't know how to
understand just how fucking toxic Twitter can be at the height of a bull run. It is so destructive to your fucking psyche.
I've met some of these people in the flesh with Moyer. Moyer, you saw some of them too. It's not worth it, man. When you see Moyer, you bring up a good point about all these people and being competitive, but once you actually meet these people, it makes it a lot easier to let go.
That's such a good point. It really is. But you look at your account, whatever it may have been. For me, at a time, it was, what was the one that, so I was on Tomb. I think I was Invader at one point. There's some, I can't even remember the name of it anymore. There was a little bit of that, but there was one that tracked all the, I don't know what it's even called anymore, but all the different, what was something like, what's it called when you put your money, I completely forget now, the one where you put your money into it, not a trading index, but just those things.
No, I think he's talking about like BlockFi, that kind of thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I had a portfolio tracker, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking at it. It's got six figures in it, and I'm feeling good about it. And then you go on Twitter, and it's, this person's got 100,
9.
like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, I want to stay until I'm like that guy. When in reality, if you work and understand what it takes to get that amount of money, let alone that amount of money out of thin air, your mind can't comprehend it at the time.
Dude,
it just can't. So you have to forgive yourself.
I was in exactly the same fucking place. My portfolio was at like an astronomical number. Then I went to Twitter and I saw this fucking retard post this screenshot of his P&L on Binance Futures saying, "Oh look, I just made $900,000 on this long on Ethereum." I'm like, what the fuck? Why can't I be like that? I deserve that. What the fuck?
I know.
So that was also some hidden alpha that I learned through those same kind of people. So it turns out a lot of those Twitter guys would inspect Element, their P&L trades, just for the sole fact that they would garner followers, and then in becoming like a niche influencer, like actual crypto companies would approach them with basically free money. So it was,
yeah,
I mean,
there was a lot of that going on. That was something that was weird too. A lot of those accounts are paid. I noticed. I just see someone's name that they'd have a punk avatar on Twitter and just have something .eth, and I've never seen them before in my life. And I look at their profile; they have like 250,000 followers. For what? What's he saying? What's he doing? Nothing. I never even heard of the. When it's really major people, I totally get that. I mean, I even know who half of them are, but then I'm just really. So you realize there was a lot of facade. There was a lot of facade around what was going on, and you can't let it get to you.
Behind those masks, there are very many horror stories. Like that guy we knew who, I remember, the French guy, the billionaire. Went from like 6 figs, and he made $1 billion like before our eyes, and the guy lost all of it.
No, he didn't lose all of it.
Dude, he peaked at like 1.3 billion, and then like nowadays he's sitting at like low 8 figs, like maybe even 7 now.
7, no.
Oh no,
so
yeah,
terrible.
I know 7 figs, but the guy had 1.3 billion.
Yeah. What a legend. Shout out to a real one. I actually am just thinking I thought about the time yesterday for no reason, and please don't name names, but when he came into our Discord and then brought up to someone else, he said, "Where's my money?" Because he loaned someone money so they would, because they were going to get liquidated, and he loaned them 50,000, whatever it was. I don't even know what crypto it was in. And he just comes in and asks me, he said, "Where's my money? I'm going to blah, 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 blah." I'm like, dude, this is so funny.
And then the other guy's like, "Oh, I have COVID." And he disappears for like a week.
Honestly, he was in the right. He'd have just taken the fucking money and just ran off.
I don't know. I don't want to mess with someone like that personally. I don't.
Honestly, if there ever were to be a last episode of this show, and it might be long after everything's gone and done and we're not talking about it anymore, just do a full expose episode of all the characters with names. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't want to. Honestly, it is tempting. It's just funny.
If at some point, like the three of us make it big time, and like we're like doing the podcast in the studio, like there's Manosphere guys, right? I'd be down. I'd be down to fund like a. I'd be down to fund like a Japanese animation studio to make an anime on.
Studio Ghibli Pink Boys. Pink Boys Moving Castle.
Dude, there's some bangers.
I know there really are stories upon stories, some ongoing as we speak, which is great. So whatever, I won't get too deep into the woods with that, but you can't help but have fun every once in a while. So we'll move on for that. Thanks for flexing your old muscles on that one, guys. But I'm gonna do dealer's choice there because he's a sick little lad, and he's earned himself a little topic here and there. So Tyson, what's on your mind these days?
I need you guys to help me understand why I got so angry at this video of a burrito.
Good stuff. Okay. Very good stuff.
Go ahead.
Well, okay. So it was a couple days ago, and I was so sick I couldn't even like fucking speak. Right? Like I would say something, and I would like nothing would come out.
Yeah, I remember.
I was watching this video of of this like 12-year-old kid who had like a sizable following, but they were trying to do like a Chipotle fucking like review or some shit. And then like they kept making this joke. They kept making this joke where like they would like slap a burrito, and it's like they'd say like, "Oh, I can't resist it. I have to slap the burrito." And it's like I knew where that came from. It came from this other YouTuber where like he was trying to like cross America, and then like he would eat only like Chipotle, and like after he ate the Chipotle burrito, he would like slap it or something. And like, dude, like seeing this 12-year-old kid like make the same joke about slapping the burrito like 10, 12 times in one video, it made me so fucking angry for some reason. Like I nearly wanted to punch the fucking wall at some point. So help me understand why this made me so angry, guys.
I'm sorry, Tyson. Do you have an explanation? Because I might have one.
See, does the kid know though? Like what slapping a burrito entails, what it symbolizes?
He picked up this fucking like shitty like burrito slap joke from the other YouTuber, and he's like he has this fucking like smug thing like, "Oh guys, I can't resist it. I have to slap the burrito." It's like, dude, I'm gonna fucking ram your head through the fucking wall. Holy shit.
I'm watching a video of this kid. So the thing that I would usually say is, you know, when you were 12, you probably did some really annoying things. I think back to some annoying things that I did when I was 12. But to be honest with you, I don't give kids blank checks at all. When I see a kid who's 7 or 8 years old do something really annoying, just yelling or shrieking or poking you or being irritating, I don't have forgiveness for that, because when I was 7 or 8, I didn't do anything like that. I was perfect. I was a perfect child. So I don't know why they can't be like that when they were kids. So they have no excuse from me. But I go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I would normally say that it's just a kid and he's bothering you because, you know, kids, they're at a different point in their life where they find things like that funny or mimicking them. Or he probably thinks that no one else knows what you're talking about. They don't know who that other YouTuber is, so he can be funny on his own. I remember I would read stuff on the internet and bring it to school. And this was before I was way ahead of my time. I bring something from the GameFAQs message board. There's no one on the GameFAQs message board who was at my school. And I bring in some heat on there and they'd be laughing at it. And I'd be like, yeah, they'll never find out. But now, you know, people can. So maybe he thought no one would find out. But you know what the true thing is, Tyson, is you're just getting old. You're getting old and you're finding kids to be annoying. And that's that.
Really?
And I know. It used to be, you know, I'm 18, 19 and they're 12 and they're annoying. I'm annoying. But now it's just like, no, you know what? Like, that's really, I have the energy and the experience to really focus in and be annoyed about something. As you get older, it feels better to be annoyed at things than be happy about it. Because you can have fun being annoyed. You have fun being annoyed. In other ways, they call it being Italian, but
there's more to this.
All right, so, go ahead.
Let's say pre-internet, right? I'd say like the kids' behaviors are kind of indicative of its upbringing and by extension what his parents are like. So as an adult, I could see myself being annoyed not only at the kid, but because it would also mean his parents are probably pricks and I'd probably want to ram the dad's face against a brick wall. But like now post internet, we have like this kind of phenomenon where like kids are very much raised and parented on the internet itself. And through this, I mean, like the whole slapping burrito, like the whole slapping of the burrito thing, like they really do pick up like things they may or may not like fully grasp. And it just, I mean, it's annoying. You're right to be annoyed because it's stupid.
Tyson put himself in his own torture scenarios. You cannot move, you cannot talk, and you have to watch a video of a 12-year-old that infuriates. But I mean, some weird Hellraiser torture or something, like a Cenobite.
I'm sure some kid has probably come across our videos before, and has maybe like even picked up like something of ours, and he's going out there right now, and he's like, I don't know, saying some stupid.
No, but it's cool when they do it. For us, it's It's cool
Well, we
when they
know
do
what
it
we're
for us,
saying is original, you know?
Yeah.
That's
For
true.
most
Yeah,
of
that's
it,
true. Yeah,
so.
yeah. The kid's gonna go out there. No one's gonna know what he's referencing. It's gonna be
and
that
then they're
weird.
gonna be like, "That was Pink Boys episode 52,
Yeah.
where Tyson said, yeah, blah blah blah." Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
All right, well,
They
Tyson,
get all the bitches.
I feel better. I guess. I mean, I see things that infuriate me all the time, so I totally get what you're talking about. Did he have some? You know, there were always kids in your classes. Their names were usually Colin, and they had a scrunched in face, and they were a little pale, and they were just annoying, and their hair was curly, but not you know, afro curly, but just like it's just annoying kids you want to punch in the face.
It was one of those
you know?
like girls that wanted to be like a boy. You know, she would like talk really boyish, like, hey, and then like slap a burrito, like wake up or some shit like that. And I'm like, oh my god.
All right, we don't want you steaming. I didn't know it was a girl this whole time. That was not the twist I was ready for.
Disturbing.
Okay. Well, actually, you brought up something on YouTube, and it's old hat now, but I don't know if Ari had any thoughts on it, but in YouTube time, especially YouTube drama time, it's ancient news. But I was, I don't even want to use the word invested. I was having a great time loosely following the popular YouTube SSniperwolf battle versus someone named Jack, who I had never heard of. And the memes were so funny. It was just, you know, so for people who may not know, really quick synopsis. This guy, Jack, made a few videos about SSniperwolf. SSniperwolf is a massively, I would want to say top 10 female video game YouTube content creator, would be fair to say. Maybe top 5.
She goes way back too.
I
There's like an
think
entire history that no one
underselling it,
knows.
Moyer.
You think I'm underselling? You think she's number one? I mean, she's larger than life.
No, not about her, but about Jack. This guy, he didn't just make a few videos. He is absolutely fucking obsessed. If you search his channel, he's made like at least 30 videos on SSniperwolf. At least 30.
Yeah.
He's obsessed.
Yeah. Yeah. And so SSniperwolf caught wind of this. And, you know, obviously she's a objectively, let's just say, societally standard, good looking female. I think she's good looking, whatever. I'm just afraid I'll say, oh, she's hot. And I was like, no, she's not. Because guys who are 4 out of 10s that go on the internet think they can just say girls who are obviously 8s are ugly, because that's just where we are right now. But she's obviously good looking, and she caught wind of what was going on. And I think she was filming something around his house, and she just sent to her millions of followers basically his front yard and home address, where she knows full well there are men like we talk about true simps, you know, like legendary multi-decade simps who are ready to lay their lives on the line for her and go do what needs to be done. She sent out this information on this competing, I wouldn't even call him a competitor, just a leech YouTuber's house. And he freaked out about it. And you had legions of people off platform saying, which brings up another issue, is that, you know, people on Twitter were calling for her to get banned on YouTube. It's like, YouTube, why don't you do something about this, blah, blah. It's like, whoa. This should be an insulated YouTube issue. And I'm not sure if she got out of it or not, but the reaction was really strange to me. Everyone seemed to be on this guy Jack's side, when in my mind, his channel is just YouTube parasiting. It's just talking about other people. They deserve their addresses to get exposed.
That's the most bizarre thing. How is he going to criticize her for being a fucking like YouTube slob when he's like the epitome of YouTube slob himself? Like, what the fuck?
I know. Go ahead, Ari. Go ahead.
So Jack like literally goes back to like the dawn of YouTube. I'm talking like 2006, 2007. He's like OG Ray William Johnson tier old.
Okay.
So there's
you think he would have gotten a bit more creative besides saying, why is SSniperwolf making copycat videos or something? Of course she is. Why wouldn't she? She could take anything. She could take your burrito slapping video and then do it herself and, you know, make millions of dollars off of it. This is some
super rare lore about SSniperwolf, but back up, I'm talking like early 2010s, right? She was actually a Call of Duty YouTuber. Very small.
Oh yeah, I remember all that.
Yeah, she had some beef with another gamer girl. called Girl Gone Gay. Why do I know this?
Keep going. I love it. This is great stuff, man.
To be fair, I was like 13, 14. So I was this is crazy. So yeah, she had beef with them. So she called her out for like supposedly faking all of her gameplay and all this and that, and basically leeching or having her brother play, like do all the gameplay and all that. And then basically the Girl Gone Gamer, but she basically switched her entire channel into like some girly vlog thing, and then eventually shut down. And then SSsniperwolf went on, and then a couple years later, the exact same thing came out against SSniperwolf, and then she flipped her channel into the same thing that the other bitch did.
Really? This bitch switched sides. I love it.
For some reason, I got memory hold.
She's an opportunist. She knows how to exercise her audience, and she's obviously incredibly successful. And she has that hot picture of her where she got arrested for home invasion with her ex-boyfriend or something or other. But I think I'm totally on her team in this. I think it's hilarious, and I think it's phenomenal where someone can make videos about you, commenting on you and what you're doing, and you just post their address. It's just ridiculous. So
the cherry on top would have been if she was waving a Glock in the air, like playing some.
Right. Well,
honestly,
she's stopped.
Jack should be grateful that SSniperwolf even let him make videos about her to get the bag. Like, you should be grateful. What the fuck you on about, you know?
Yeah, but instead, the tweets are so funny. It was like Jack when there's a hot woman trying to find his house, and it was like someone cowering under. It's like, oh no, this girl with huge titties is outside my house and she wants to see me. It was just so good. I that was a good follow along, that one, and that was just good old fashioned YouTube internet drama. Honestly, in a way, it kind of reminds me of the olden days, and maybe that's because they're both old school figures, really, just having beef late in the game, you know?
I have issue with this kind of like all righteous kind of moral takes on fucking YouTube. It's a dead, fucked up platform. It's like, it's not like fair game out here. Everyone's playing. Oh, I'm really being careful with what words I use. There's a particular word I really want to use, but YouTube isn't. Listen, who gives a shit if she's like an opportunistic leech? Like, really? She's like appealing to kids and all this and that.
Everyone's
like, that's what YouTube is now.
So
why?
Focus on the bag.
It's like a boomer, right? It's like a boomer who just can't cope with the fact that 67 Mustang is being overtaken by a Tesla. My V8, my all-American V8, and my carburetor.
You know what else? And this, I might be pushing it too far here. It gives me the same energy as people who say they think Logan and Jake Paul are super annoying. They know full well what characters they need to play and how to optimize their audience. They are the marketing geniuses of the last 10 years, and it's not even close. And I know that sounds stupid because they're so annoying, but they know that's what entertainment to children is now, and that's basically what YouTube is. It's just baiting.
Imagine if people still acted like, I don't know, like Fred or like pre-2012 Smosh, you know? Like,
I knew you were going to say Smosh next.
Yeah. You know? Like, that's annoying too. Just get with the times, you fucking old man.
Like Rage Comics in real life, part 5.
Okay, no, I will defend Rage. Rage Comics I'll defend.
But
Rage Comics I'll defend.
Problem.
Dude, I love those. I still love those.
Hey, man, I remember in 2010, there was a website called Macro Meme, and every time you clicked it, a new meme would come up, and a lot of them were Rage comics, and then everything went better than expected.
Rage comics aged like fine wine, and like there was like a great filter in like meme culture where like many of these old memes are extradited and, you know, exiled into, I don't know, normiedom, whatever you call it, and then eventually they just went extinct, and then they were all replaced by like the memes that survived came back, and then they all kind of evolved and like split paths into like what were basically like Rage comics. So like, you know, Wojak, there's like a sad Wojak, like yes honey, and that's like that one Rage comic thing is like, oh, and then there's you know,
dude, where he had a round face, I think, like, oh, okay, or something. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember a lot of those. That was good stuff.
Like,
so
yeah, it's interesting how like memes in like internet culture actually took on like Dawkins' idea of like memes, or like
actually, you know what? Now that we're talking about this, and not to rewind a little bit, There is something so emasculating and pathetic about a man going on YouTube and whining because a woman was outside of his front door and posted his address. And look, obviously I'm not the poster child for masculinity, but it does look really pathetic when you go, it's like, oh no, she did. You can laugh about it. You know what I mean? Instead of being like, "Oh no, this is really serious, guys."
I don't blame him for being angry about the doxing, but I think he was being a bitch when he made the videos on SSniperwolf in the first place. You know?
Yeah. No, that's fair. That is fair.
Because like, what if like some random psycho like just like comes in your house? You know?
Yeah. What was he really going for? Okay,
then don't make videos fighting with her. Then leave it alone. Maybe, I don't know. You know, you're messing with an unhinged person.
Yeah.
Like if he got what he wanted and she's like extradited off the platform, like yay, what now? You know, there's like so many others.
Yeah, and then what? He just keeps making videos about other people and expects no repercussions whatsoever. It's just strange to me. You know, it kind of
like she's not even the worst one. She's like unapologetically like pretending to enjoy what she's doing.
I think meta commentary of original content is obnoxious. I thought the content cop iDubbbz. I think all that stuff is parasitical, but that's just me.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah.
I hated how people sucked off the fucking content cop stuff back in the days.
Do you know how easy it is to take what someone's doing originally and creatively, even if it's just maybe copying someone else and putting your own spin on it, and then commenting on that? It's the easiest thing to do on the planet. I could watch Tyson walk down the street and do meta commentary like, look at this idiot. He looks so stupid. And everyone's like, ho, ho, ho. You know what I mean?
The worst
thing is
safe
that when the
you
content
can
cop
do.
dropped, everyone was like, dude, this iDubbbz guy, he's like untouchable. He's like unroastable. I'm like, look in the fucking mirror. He looks like a fucking dork. Like, come on, dude.
But also look at him now as well. Obviously, I know I was an apologist for him in a certain way, but that was different. But yeah, I completely.
I think the big one today, which for some reason, it just blows my mind why he's popular and why so many people like him. But MoistCritikal, like all he does is like most safe, like the safest of the safest like opinions. Recently, something really pissed me off. So recently, an anime, Attack on Titan, ended. The ending sucked. It objectively sucked. But this guy, supposedly he loved it or whatever. He basically like he retconned everything he would say in the past in like his previous coverage of the anime. And he's like, oh, you know, this was always this way. And then like 2 days later, he does like a video on like some Marvel cape shit. And like he's basically talking about the exact same shit, but for some reason he likes it now. The only difference between these two is just like it was dangerous to dislike Attack on Titan because you know Twitter would shit on him and there'd be drama. And like with the Marvel shit, it wasn't safe to, like everyone's on board with shitting on Marvel now. So
dude,
like,
all this guy
it's
does
so boring.
is he just waits for consensus to form, and he just says, "Wow, that's crazy," and then inserts the consensus opinion.
Like holy balls, poop balls, dick in my butthole.
You know, I can't take crude analogies and I can't take that type. I don't talk like that in my daily life, and it bothers. Like when someone uses the term polish a turd, it really bothers me. I think there's better use of language there, but people love using crude metaphors like that. And it's kind of like slapping a burrito level annoyance for me. I can't stand it, but that's just me being an aside. Yeah.
His alien coverage stuff, like I was on the border of like I'm not gonna
that was Ari's burrito.
Yeah, that was my burrito. That was my 9/11. It was my 9/11.
What is that quote?
He said some stuff about like, oh, if I don't believe aliens exist when they came to this planet, because like, if they were so sophisticated that they could travel light years, then how would they fucking crash on the planet? Right, dude? Like you're fucking dumb.
Oh my god.
That people talk about not only real life events but movies that way, and when they talk about movies that way, they're even dumber. They'll talk about sci-fi movies and say, if they had the space, it's a movie. It's a movie. Nothing's supposed to make sense. It's a fictional world. What are you talking about? You know, unless just suspend disbelief and watch your stupid movie. But it's the same thing in real life when they talk about UFOs. It's like, you don't even know what they are. It's just, well, you wouldn't be able to survive light years because your body would flatten because you can't move it. And it's like, what is that? What we're talking? Like, you don't even know what you don't even know what it
right,
is.
You're right. You're right. They don't know. And then even then,
if you confronted MoistCritikal about his take about all like the dumb like alien light year stuff, if you confronted him about that, he would say, "Wait, you took my perspective on aliens seriously? I'm a comedian.
Yeah,
I'm
really
a comedian.
would do that."
Oh, well, he'll, what not the genesis of that, but the poster child for it is when Jon Stewart was on Crossfire with Tucker Carlson. I want to say about 20 or more years ago now, where Tucker Carlson tried to corner him on a specific issue, and then Jon Stewart, which people thought was just the most intelligent thing of all time, ever aired on live TV, and Tucker got owned. He said, I'm on the show with the Talking Muppets afterwards, so what are you talking about? And it's just like, oh, so you're allowed to talk seriously, but then when you're challenged on anything, you say, well, I'm a comedian. And that's reason number 5692 why I fucking hate comedy and I hate comedians. But sorry, it's just that's what you're talking about, though. He can do that whole thing. So, well, I'm just a dumb YouTuber. You're wasting your time talking to me.
To displace any accountability,
no conviction at all in anything that they're saying.
So
it's just, oh God, that bothers me. So actually,
this is why.
Yeah, what were you gonna say? Yeah.
No, this is why I think serial killers are far more respectable than comedians. They have conviction in their craft. They'll stand in court and they'll be like, "Yeah, I killed that motherfucker. Ate that motherfucker dick, bro."
It's an interesting direction.
What the fuck you gonna do, bro?
Wait, hold on. Your fictional serial killer did what?
No, real serial killers.
No, you just said I ate that motherfucker's dick. That's what your serial killer just did.
Sure, yeah.
So
I don't know why I
that's the
said
first thing that came to your mind in a serial killer that you made up is that he was gay. It's like dick.
Although many of them are though. There will be anyway.
Yeah, they're gonna have to learn. They will have to learn at some point. So actually, I'm gonna leave some comments about serial killers I've had lately on the table. But you said something, Ari, that made me think for a moment. So, and I promise I won't bore you guys with this, but I'm a masochist. You want to talk about Cenobite Hellraiser level tier torture? Is I got out of the theaters earlier today. I caught a matinee of the Marvels movie with Brie Larson. Yes.
Damn.
And because to me, and I loved all those stupid Marvel movies. And you know what? Quick review. The first half of the movie was lighthearted fun. It fell apart completely in the second half. I had no idea what it was doing. It was obviously in chop shop hell. It wasn't a great movie, but it kept my attention. So whatever. What more could you ask for? They're movies. They're not meant to be deep. So, and we all know that, of course. But
I have something to say about
that. But the part of the reason why I saw it is because I viewed it as the end of that entire. I view it as the last gasp of the superhero, mainly Marvel movie phase before it pivots and goes into a different direction, because they realize, they either ran out of steam or they started going with a model that wasn't working, or they ditched something that was working earlier in favor of, going for a more culturally, progressive message that isn't really meshing well with their traditional audience. They tried to do a lot of different things in the most recent phase, but to talk on a much broader scale, you notice, and especially with, I think you want to talk about shows that actually don't take risks in my eyes. Something like South Park, I find it so dull. I find it so boring. It's not even parody. It's just, what if, I'm not. It doesn't jive with me. It never did. I just find it so guttural, and I just find it boring.
They're taking
Family Guy's smart. I'm fine with Family Guy.
South Park take is just, guys, what if both sides were wrong? What if both sides are dumb?
What if everything was just stupid, At least Family Guy has watchability to it, where the entire point of it isn't to try and offend you, or it's like, you know what I mean? At least there's something stupid in there that like, you want to talk about Prime turning your brain off and maybe doing an occasional like dumbass giggle, Family Guy's perfect for that. Obviously, I'll die on that hill as an idiot. I'm okay with that. But I think 10 to 15 years ago, there was a huge marketing summit, meeting, consultation that happened across the entire, let's just say
group.
broader
Bohemian Grove.
let's say the Bohemian Grove of marketing executives, or let's just say deal makers within Hollywood and producers, where they said, look, here is a male audience that you will always have. This male audience will never leave you. They will watch the next Star Wars. They'll watch the next Marvel. They'll watch the next anything you say, because they're idiots, and they may or may not be a member of the Pink Boys podcast, and they're dumb. They will see Miss Marvel. They are dumb, or the Marvels or whatever it was called. So you have those guys. What you need to do is try and get the other half. There's 50% of the population that are women that we need to start capturing. And if we can get even a percentage, and I guarantee you they said it like this, let me say, if you can capture just 10% of them, your profits will do this. So they took this, and I think it took a decade-long commitment from major Hollywood studios like Disney to do something like this. They went all in with this idea. So it explains Indiana Jones, the Marvels, basically any superhero show you can imagine where they, replace the leading character with a woman or place more emphasis on a woman. I think that they went all in with this. And I think this Marvel movie that I just saw, I think it's called The Marvels, that was the last gasp of that marketing direction. I think people have learned that, and there's been enough data to kind of work the numbers and see if it ended up being a success, that formula doesn't work for movies anymore, and they're going to move on from it. And I think the Marvels was kind of the end point of that, and it was just a sloppy, misshapen mess that was barely put together in the studio. So
it even extended to Mario.
what with giving Peach the powers?
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I mean, she was like the focal point of the movie.
Well, that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. That movie was god awful. Movie was embarrassing. And I played Kaizo Mario. I'm a real Mario MFer, and that was fucking terrible. But I think you're going to start seeing, starting over the next year, it's going to be a moment before it all kind of gets pushed into production. You're going to start seeing more traditional type movies with male heroes, just trying to like recapture past grandeur of older cinema. I think this has been a project,
So the uprising of Ryan Gosling. Well, it's not really an uprising, but like the among Zoomers at the very least, like the whole masculinity things popping off.
He ended up being the only part of the Barbie. I mean, obviously there were a lot of things to talk about with that movie.
I love the Barbie movie.
I actually will see it at some point, but he seems to be the only thing people are talking about.
So let me just tell you this. When you go into it, just kind of think of Ryan Gosling as a symbol of Bronze Age vitality.
Bronze Age.
You're copying something from Twitter, all right?
No. I've
literally seen that.
Summary. Yeah, I know it goes around, but like that's the first thing I thought. There is a scene in the movie. You will know exactly what I mean. You don't need to go on Twitter to know that. Yeah, like there's a scene in the movie that like a guy will immediately like have that thought himself. Like you don't need to go on Twitter.
Okay, all right.
Just look at the movie as like under that kind of lens, and like there's a lot of like hidden meanings under some of the. Anyway, yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. What do you think? Yeah. Go ahead.
So, you must have heard about the Legend of Zelda live action.
Yeah, and people are trying to say that video game movies are going to be the next superhero movies. I don't see that. You're just taking the most popular Nintendo characters in the world. Like, you can only do that 2 or 3 times.
They already messed up. A Legend of Zelda is supposed to be a
If they cast Hunter Schafer, I will have to be watching that, unfortunately.
Why is that, Tyson?
Wait, what?
She's my queen.
Wait.
If they cast Hunter Schafer as Zelda, I'm all for it.
Honestly, they'd be better as Link, but either or,
isn't it being produced by like the same guys that ruined Spider-Man or something? So
he did the Maze Runner, which were decent movies.
So if but the thing is that means that we might end up with Tom Holland as Link and Zendaya as Zelda, which I could totally see happening.
Yeah, I could see them race mixing. No, Nintendo probably wouldn't allow that with their IP. So who knows?
They let a lot of shit slide of Mario. Did they? I don't know. No, I guess not.
Think about even
not.
Zelda. You know, a traditional hero's quest with a male.
The
hero.
issue is even if Zelda was a dead, honestly, that's not even going to be close to like the biggest problem. Link, is he going to talk?
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. That's tough, but it probably needs to be animated. It really probably needs to be
a Ghibli movie. That's all it needs to be.
But
silent protagonist, Ghibli movie, very quiet, serene, ambient. That's all you need.
Zelda is timeless, and if they made a movie, the movie would have to be timeless. They've been talking about making a Zelda movie since I was 8 years old, so if they actually followed through with it, it'll break Mario records. I think.
But you saw no. But the other thing is, you saw what they did on the Mario movie. Like, you know, it's just going to be fan service. They're going to take like every Zelda. They're going to take they're going to take everything from every Zelda game and like squish it into one movie, and it's going to be a shit story, and it's just going to suck.
No, it's just pathetic fan sequences over and over. So I'm hoping.
But the thing I worry about is the cultural consequences of like these video game movies. Because I think Sonic did okay with it, but like when you look at like Mario and you see like the kind of
you guys keep saying Mario the film was bad, but it was so bad. Why did it do so well?
Because they're a bunch of dumb kids who want to see the person that they recognize. It also had a big fall off in theaters. There weren't a lot of repeat viewings because they knew it was garbage. You feel like you have to see it. I mean, it's getting more. It's kind of like Last Jedi syndrome. You know,
Mario is quite literally more famous than Mickey Mouse. He's probably the most famous character, period, in the world.
You know, it's so funny that Tyson can flip-flop between whether he calls a movie good or bad if it makes a bunch of money. It's just really annoying. If I name a movie that he hates and say it made a lot of money, then I guess he's just forced to like it then. So whatever. That's the intelligence of your average cinephile, ladies and gentlemen. So
that was totally my intention, and you aren't doing anything in bad faith. For sure.
He always pulls out the in bad faith. Come on. It doesn't matter if it's in bad faith or not. You still have to argue against it, right? So,
listen. At least with Mario, let's just say normal people, they've all played Mario Kart and they know some bits. But like with Zelda, I do not look forward to the day that like the fucking like your average McDonald's cashier is going to be talking about like, oh, I love Saria and the Lost Woods theme, like, you know, from that movie. And I'm like, shut up, please stop.
I think there's a lot more passion behind Zelda than there is Mario. There's a lot more passionate fans. I think the online factional wars will be insane.
You just know that it's going to be hopeless. It's like how, you know how like comic guys seethe over MCU stuff? I am going to be that guy that seethes about like Zelda people, and I'm gonna be that guy. Shamelessly.
Isn't it amazing how not a single relevant Zelda was released after Wind Waker? Because Wind Waker was
shut up.
Are you gonna say Spirit Tracks on D? Like, what are you talking? Like, there's no.
That sucks.
No one, the one you transform into a wolf. No one cares about any of this stuff.
And how dare you? You filtered.
And they gave up and made it open world too, which is awful. Zelda's not even meant to be like that.
I have my qualms with the open world ones and Skulls, but Twilight Princess, how dare you? You got filtered hard. I'm sorry you didn't like Spider-Man 3 either.
Listen, I have a hardcover limited edition. What was that game called? Twin Swords?
Twilight Princess.
Yeah, I have like I lost it already, but I have like a hardcover, you know, limited edition guide to that game. I got that the second it came out. I was all over it. I didn't even finish that trash. That was just embarrassing.
You know the lore?
Into a dog. I don't want to know the lore.
You don't know the lore behind it. There's like anyway.
Spare me.
I'll spare that energy. Anyway, I was going to tie this into something completely different. It's still related to video games. I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
So by virtue of a video game being interactive and like actually more artistic in nature, because the developer handcrafts these visions from from his head onto the screen, sure, but it's like a canvas that he paints on, right? Then he adds life to it. He breathes life to it. He codes and he breathes something from his mind into the game, right? By virtue of that, would you say video games are much closer to art than movies or photographs?
Well, when you put it that way, I'd say they're closer to art than movies, but they're not art in any way, shape, or form.
Why are they not art to you?
Maybe they're 1% over the line as compared to a movie, because I do understand there's a lot of effort and creativity that goes into them.
A totally real and legitimate opinion, people. Yep.
Well, okay, keep going.
Because the purpose of these is to be a game, to entertain, to grab your attention span, not to provoke thought and depth in a way that meaningful art does.
But unlike music and photographs and movies, the creators are not confined to reality, so they can go beyond that and express things that otherwise couldn't be expressed, like materially.
Yeah,
take like anime for example. Just because by the art style alone, they're able to like really go beyond like emotions that can be expressed in person. Just like have a massive eyes and like the eyebrows, like nosebleeds and all of that. Like that's something, right?
The story that they're telling to me is not evocative of art; it's evocative of entertainment, and I think there's a difference between those two things. Absolutely. And video games are just the holodeck from Star Trek. Oh, I imagine it, and imagine you complain. That's not art. That's not elevation, you know?
Take a painting, right, and you just animated it. Like you made multiple frames of that painting. Is that all of a sudden not art to you anymore? And it's
entertainment now. It's entertainment.
Why?
Now.
Because you made two paintings.
Because it becomes an attention span objective after it becomes playable or viewable.
All right, don't bother. It's not a real opinion.
You look at a painting anyway. Actually, you tend to stare at a painting longer than you stare at you
appreciate paintings in the way you appreciate art. You know.
So you're telling me you walk through a museum and like you're running through looking at it once and you're done. Do you think I appreciate
looking at the open world in Ocarina of Time in the same way you appreciate art?
No, not at all. Of course not. But
then I'm right.
There's something there. There's something there. And it's not that. No, you don't appreciate it the same way. I'm sure, but like there's still something there. Like the overwhelming beauty of like nature, but like there's something different to it, and like that comes from someone else's like mind, and you know.
Yeah,
like,
to entertain
it's not
people.
God. Oh yeah. Okay.
Sorry, just let it go. Well, I've dug too deep into that opinion to change my mind, so you're not going to get anywhere with it. But I do appreciate it.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
I do appreciate it. So, what are you going to say? What about sex? Is sex
No,
art?
is like an Ouroboros symbol like artistic to you, or is that like what is that to you?
I'm not going to do an on-air Rorschach test. We'll let this one go for now. Tyson's got a subject that I want to dig into a little bit, and maybe it is art, okay? And I'm not trying to weasel out of it because I do have an answer for what an Ouroboros would mean to me, but we'll have to tackle that another time. But so this could be art. Tyson brought it up earlier. He just says grape ice cream. So,
yep.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about here?
You know, I was doing some research, and did you guys know that grape ice cream doesn't actually exist?
Of course not, because
why would it not exist?
The same reason why orange ice cream isn't a good thing.
No, orange ice cream does exist. It's apparently it's like impossible to make the flavor of grape ice cream.
I don't believe that.
When you Google it, it's so funny. This is the real reason you could never find grape ice cream.
Yeah, that's what I saw as well.
Dude, this is almost in the realm of those fake ads that you see at the bottom of websites. It was like, this guy died and no one said a word, or 3 things you could do to fall asleep at night, and it shows a picture of like a tube up someone's ass.
Here's why grape ice cream isn't a thing.
Yeah, so it's like, this is the real reason. Okay, why not?
Rings the same bells as like, the guy who invented the hydrogen powered car died.
Apparently, it's like something deep inside the grape. It just prevents it from being ice cream.
The mythical grape ice cream.
Yeah.
This is what you had to talk about.
Talk about unachievable standards.
So if you could have a grape ice cream and a nitro Pepsi, that would be the ultimate Tyson
Dude, can
dinner.
you guys like imagine right now? Grape flavored ice cream. That would be fucking sick. That would taste so good.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
I
That
know,
would be
right?
really good.
And
It
I
looks
don't
really
believe
nice
it's
from the
impossible either.
pictures. I don't know. It's starting to look impossible. I'm starting to have a really hard time coming to terms with what Tyson's putting in front of us right now. There's but how do you make grape flavored anything then? I don't get it.
Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
The way I'd picture it though, I'd picture it like being like kind of crystally, like grape juice crystals.
No, but that's a
amongst,
popsicle.
like, cream.
That's different. Ice cream has to have milk.
So you have to emulsify the grape with like the fats, the fat soluble proteins and stuff. Not proteins. How would that work?
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Damn.
No, but you could wait. There's so milk. Ice cream is an emulsion of like what milk, eggs, cream, and sugar and stuff like that. So there's actually very little. What if you replace the water content? Okay, how about this? Take grape juice and then you mix that with milk powder. So the water element of milk is now grapey, and then you emulsify that with the fats and the sugars. Why wouldn't that work?
Skill issue plus ratio.
Yeah, Ari is just completely striking out on that one. It says it is one of the more common flavors in Japan. So maybe if we go to Japan, we can get. But it looks disgusting on the Wikipedia picture. It looks gross. I don't want anything like that. So, it's really. Were you pregnant? Did you have a special craving? Like, I
wanted something grape, and I'm like, what? You tell me this doesn't fucking exist? How is it possible?
I like this headline: Grape ice cream potentially
Sounds like
delicious.
Another business opportunity.
It says potentially delicious but commercially cursed. So
So
I guess mass producing grape ice cream is a huge problem here. Turns out grapes
grape
are their
ice
own
cream
worst
problem.
enemy. Yeah, the grape ice cream has been banned from 100 countries.
You're not allowed to talk about it either.
Yeah, you're not. What's that Voltaire quote that I think is fake? It's like, find out who you can't insult or something.
I wonder what
that's
allegiances
who
the
controls
Japanese.
you.
Which flavor?
I wonder what
allegiances
allegiances the Japanese once had or have for them to be able to make grape ice cream.
Yeah, that is something to really. I wonder who they were
Really makes
allied
you
with
think.
in World War II, and now they're able to freely use grape ice cream. That really makes you.
That's like the
causes
biggest
one to
argument.
pop.
Samurai.
It's like the biggest argument for the existence of magic that they can like manufacture grape ice cream in Japan.
The grape ice cream fears the samurai.
Okay, that's something to put on there. We're gonna make grape ice cream at some point.
just
We're doing
watch
it. We're
that
doing
be our. We just do a live video of us making grape ice cream. Million
Just like
views
lab
right off
coats
the
and
bat. Yeah,
The world's first grape ice cream
FBI open up.
announcement.
yeah. See a
Like,
red dot
going on-
laser up our chests. While
It's like
making
going
it.
on stage like it's some like Apple event with Steve Jobs. It's like introducing grape ice cream, and you've got like some Johnny Ive like trailer behind it. It's like, we really worked hard at the Pink Boys to develop this. The craftsmanship that went into the machinery to multi.
Then there's a grassy knoll shooter in a air conditioning vent, like putting a scope on a pistol. Like, has to take us out before we can finish the job. Yeah,
Be
that's
hit
what
by
it's
that
feeling
heart
like.
attack gun.
Yeah, that killed. Who was the guy that it killed?
Some American.
Breitbart, Andrew Breitbart. Yep, he was
There you
was
go.
killed by that. Yep. I got there eventually. So that's weird because there are a lot of purple ice creams, but I guess those aren't grape ice creams. So,
There's a purple
Ari, what's your
brand
favorite
ice cream.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor, Ari?
Oh man, it's a difficult one. I've got. Oh fuck. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna say mint and chocolate chip. Just to really.
Oh man! Oh, okay. Well, all right. What about you, Tyson?
Or
Cookies and
cookie dough.
cream.
Or cookie dough. Yeah, there you go.
Ooh, okay,
There you
cookie dough is my favorite. So you saved it.
Yeah.
I only eat ice cream if it is cookie dough. I don't eat any. I can't eat
Really?
vanilla or. Yep.
How
If
do you
there's
not
no
like
cookie
You
dough in
can't
it, I
have
won't use it.
vanilla. What?
I hate
mint?
milk. I hate milk. I think milk is disgusting. The fact that people drink what comes out of cows' udders is just so gross
But
to
it doesn't
me.
even taste like milk.
It does.
But
No, it doesn't even taste like milk.
But it's not about the taste. It's about the texture. So when I have ice cream, I don't lick it. I just bite it down right away. And it's not worth that effort unless there's cookie dough in there. If I'm just biting down into vanilla until it's not, because when it starts melting, it starts to look like milk. Obviously, it gets on the side of your cone on your hand. It's disgusting. I throw it out
needs
immediately.
To be soft servy. Moyer, I know something you might like.
No, it needs to be hard.
No, it needs to be soft servy.
No, go ahead.
Yes, you're spurging out.
Why does it need to be? You can't get soft serve cookie dough ice cream, you moron.
No, yes, you can. You let it melt a little bit.
Why would I want it to melt? That's exactly what I don't want.
Why?
Because then it looks like milk and it's gross.
It's not gross though. Milk is like the first thing you eat or consume as a human being.
We have a fundamental disagreement on this, so that's all right. I'm willing to let that go. But
so ice cream is very much like a throwback, like you are a child again food. So I don't see why you couldn't just go all the way and be like, "Mummy's boobie in my mouth," you know.
Well, that reveals enough about you that I don't really need to.
Well, anyway, enough Freudian psychosexual.
Is that what you think about when you fucking ice cream? Because that's the one I think about.
Yeah, is that
what goes through your mind?
anyway.
That's like ketchup's for 12-year-olds, but go ahead, Ari.
Mint chocolate ice cream. Well, okay, I will die on this hill. Absolute keynote. You need to be. Honestly, to be fair, you have to have a really large penis to appreciate mint and chocolate chip ice cream. I'm sorry that you can't, but
maybe there's a correlation there, right?
Can we all agree though that pure chocolate ice cream is for subhumans?
I pretend that be gone from me. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even want to acknowledge. I don't even want that in my, that whole thing that went around online. Like, can you imagine an apple in your head? I don't want to imagine chocolate ice cream in my head. I just don't. I don't even want to think about it.
Okay.
So.
Well, real quick. What's your favorite percentage of chocolate? Go.
What are you talking about? I have no idea.
Percentage, like milk chocolate. White chocolate's like what, 30%. Milk chocolate's like 50%.
Like
dark chocolate's like 80%.
This is a British thing.
You don't like dark chocolate? Okay, fuck you.
Oh, you don't like your dark chocolate?
All right.
So a 15-year-old with like 15% chocolate in his head, man.
Just what did he even say?
You're like doing some Charlie and the Chocolate Factory bullshit. I just don't even want to listen to it. Like
you babies. You can't even be babies. You can't even be babies. You can't be a grown up that likes dark chocolate. You can't be a baby that likes like milky ice cream. You have to be a fucking midwit when it comes to like foods that you're supposed to like not even eat, but like you do it because pleasure.
I'm a texture based eater. I care more about texture than taste most of the time. There's a lot of things well, yeah, there are ongoing discussions around that for sure. So we'll let that go for now. But all right, I think we started off pretty strong, but then the last about half hour there, we're just riding on them, which I'm fine with. If you're still here, I'm happy to hear it. But did you have anything to follow out, Tyson? I know I see something here that says Coke Zero phenomenon.
I'll save the good stuff for next time when my voice gets better.
All right, yeah, you have to really, really lay that one out. The Coke Zero phenomenon. So yeah, we need you at your best. We need you at your best. So, you know what? I'll close it out. So I say what you need to say, and Tyson too.
Baby, I know that you. No, anyway, go ahead. just keep it rolling.
Yeah,
I couldn't even commit to that.
Thank God.
678-999-212.
678. That is definitely the official show of this pod. But I will say in closing to remind you again, the link is I want to sound like a YouTuber. All right, look at below. Link in the description. Seriously, the Scary Door channel, talk about paranormal stuff. It's what I'm concentrating on. I think it's interesting. I think it's fun. I like the subject. I hope you guys do too. The Scary Door. Click on it below. Yes, by inversely exponential. I'm just kidding. That's not how that goes. All right. Good luck out there, folks.